appreciate you being on tonight.
Thanks for the invitation, Joe.
Okay, let's talk about the rat of the week. Why is Bayer Corporation the rat of the week?
Internal documents show that after this company positively, absolutely knew that they had a medication that was infected with the AIDS virus, they took the product off the market in the U.S. and then they dumped it in France, Europe, Asia, and Latin America.
If it's possible. And with regard to risks, there is no question, Campbell. It would be dishonest to say that we know for sure that vaccines can be safe for everybody. You give a vaccine to a couple 100 million people, there are going to be problems. And we won't even know if those problems are related to the vaccine. But to be fair to many Americans who are concerned, there's probably going to be some issues that arise with the vaccine, but we think they're going to be exceedingly rare. Even if they're as bad as they were in 1976 with the immunization given with the swine flu that resulted in Guillain-Barré, the incidence of getting that wasn't that much different from getting hit by lightning. The proverbial risk factor most of us shy away from.
Look, you are telling a mother who is trying to decide myself whether to get my kids vaccinated when the time comes. And I'm reading this, 51% of parents, only 51% are absolutely certain. I'll be honest, I'm in that 50% that isn't absolutely certain. So how do you convince me? How do you convince the other parents out there that we need to do this?
Campbell, I'm going to get it.
Yes.
If that helps at all. But I'll tell you, my wife is not going to immunize our kids. Because I've got 4 of them, and when I go home, I'm not Dr. Oz, I'm Mr. Oz.
My name is Gwen Olson, and I am the author of Confessions of an RX Drug Pusher. I'm a 15-year veteran of the pharmaceutical industry, and I left in the year 2000. And what I would like to do today is I would like to dispel the myth that the pharmaceutical industry is in the business of health and healing. Because in fact, what the pharmaceutical industry is in the business of doing is disease maintenance and symptoms management. They are not in the business to cure cancer, to cure Alzheimer's, to cure heart disease, because if they were, they would be in the business of putting themselves out of business, and that in fact doesn't make sense. I don't want people thinking that I am a conspiracy theorist, because in fact there is no theory behind what I'm telling you. It's all provable.
I was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago. Correctly, and I am cancer-free. But earlier this year, I was misdiagnosed with lung cancer that metastasized throughout my entire body. In fact, my oncologist said, I have never seen so much cancer. And he said, what we can do is we can start you on full-body chemotherapy today. And I looked at him and I said, just so you know where I'm coming from, I'd rather die. I would never take chemical poisoning. It's just not in my nature to do something like that. He said, well, then I think you should think about getting your things in order. And this was reconfirmed over 6 days in the hospital by 6 different doctors, all telling me that it was inoperable, incurable, and essentially hopeless. What I did hold on to, around day 3 or 4, I said to my husband, you know, I've been keeping a file on these doctors who are curing cancer, in most cases without drugs. If I can get out of this hospital, I want you to take me to one of them. So on the 6th day, when it turned out that they were horribly wrong, I was misdiagnosed, it was wrong, I had no cancer at all after looking death in the eye for 6 days, I thought rather than get mad, I'm going to interview these doctors in this file. And that's what I've done for the better part of this year, is talk to these doctors, interview them, and I would say to each of them, it's all well and good for you to tell me this, I need to talk to your patients. They opened up their patients to me. I talked to stage 4 lung cancer, liver cancer, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, brain tumors. All these people living these normal, healthy lives, having not been degraded by harsh chemicals, and I realized there is another way that none of us know about, and so that's what I've written about in Knockout. Other options that you probably don't know anything about. Oh, Dr. Blaylock is one of the brightest minds in the country. He's an oncologist, neurosurgeon for 22 years, stopped surgery because he said he was opening brain, seeing cancer so rare in younger and younger people that he decided he had to devote the rest of his life to research to the effects of chemicals on the human brain and body. So he's a neuroscientist, and I go to him for information all the time. And one of the things that Dr. Blaylock told me that is absolutely shocking, so much so that I've hardly mentioned on television because I'm being so attacked for having the audacity to say that there are ways other than chemotherapy to deal with cancer. But he said, if I were a woman, I would never have a mammogram. And I said, what? He said, if a woman starts at age 40 with no cancer and has a mammogram every year, by the time she's 50, she will have increased her chances of getting breast cancer by 33 1/3%. He said also, the act of smashing the breast the way we do with, like in a panini machine with a mammogram, he said, if you have a tumor in there, he said, that very process of smashing can break the tumor and metastasize the cancer.